All right. Hello, hello, my friends. I hope you are having a fantastic morning, evening, night, whatever it is, afternoon. It's clearly night where I am, which is South Texas. Pardon me, needed to take a little sip. Now, what we are going to talk about this evening is the announcement of the 2021 Mustang Mach 1 price. And obviously I'm going to cover a little Mustang Mach 1 history because, history is kind of my jam. If you're familiar with this channel, then you already know that that's what's up. And it was kind of on my mind because today got to drive around a 1969 Mustang Mach 1 with the 428 Cobra Jet engine and shaker hood, which is phenomenal. And the other day I had read about the press release of the Mach 1, and so I said, you know what? This seems like a grand thing to discuss. And so we will. And at this point, if you're not familiar with this channel, some of you might be saying, who in the world is this blonde girl that is going to be talking about cars? Yes, well, good question. I am Caitlin, aka The Bad Blonde. Probably could have thought about that Instagram handle, The Bad Blonde, and the website name, The Bad Blonde, a little bit better, because now everybody emails me and asks why it's The Bad Blonde. Well, it's just because the good blonde wouldn't have been entirely honest, frankly. All right, nothing more odd than that, you perverts. Now, let's go ahead. Oh, I should tell you, if you like car stuff, car history, car drives, peeks at cars, go ahead and press subscribe wherever that button is. I know it's somewhere. You can figure it out. It's a red button. And who I am exactly? Well, my dad's a mechanic, my brother's a mechanic. Grew up in our mechanic shop that specializes in foreign and antique automotives down here in South Texas, Corpus Christi, Texas, the sparkling city by the sea. That is where my love of cars began. Also, I've kind of chased down a lot of the car museums across the nation and across the world, frankly, and can't get enough of them. Car history is my jam. Without further ado, let's talk about the 2021 Mustang Mach 1. And obviously, we are going to talk a little bit about the history and Lee Iacocca because I am a sucker for Iacocca. Let's do it. Now, should I talk about the history of the Mustang first? Should I talk about the 2021 Mustang first? I don't know. Let's make a little bit of a sandwich, okay? Now, the pricing for this limited edition Mustang Mach 1 starts at $52,915, all right? And you will see the Mach 1 hit dealerships in the spring of 2021. Now, the 2021 Mach 1 is kind of a perfect combination. Now, out of the old parts bin at Ford, it has yanked out a few items from the Mustang GT350 and the GT500, and it has some of the great features from the Bullitt. And like the Bullitt, it features the 5-liter V8 Ford engine that can crank out 480 horsepower and 420 pounds of torque. And a few of the components that the Mach 1 shares with the GT350, the Tremec 3166-speed manual transmission, all right, auxiliary oil cooler, and the air intake. To boost downforce on the Mustang Mach 1, it features a more substantial front splitter, plus tuned MagneRide adaptive shocks, unique electric power steering calibration, stiffer front springs and anti-roll bars, the brake booster from the Mustang GT Performance Pack 2, and little borrowing from the Shelby GT500, it has the rear diffuser, rear axle cooler, and rear toe links. It kind of sounds like the 2021 Mach 1 is going to be an instant success. I wish I had the money to buy it. Now, a little bit of time for the Mustang history, okay? Now, let's go back to the man, the myth, the legend. Yes, you know who I'm about to talk about. Mr. Lee Iacocca, the man that brought you the first pony car, the Mustang. Lee also saved Chrysler, as you probably know. I really should just make an entire segment just for him, frankly. Be dreamy. I am reading his autobiography. I don't have it behind me. I have it in my bedroom. But, love the guy, okay? So, he was the one that decided to create the car that everybody calls the right car at the right time, the Mustang. He's pretty clever, so he put two and two together. He realized that the baby boomers were about to turn of legal age to drive, and he said, you know what? We need a car of the perfect combination. It needs to be lightweight, it needs to be low in price, and it needs to be good looking. The birth of the Mustang. So Ford releases the Mustang in April of 1964 at the New York World Fair, okay? And everybody went ape, okay? They initially estimated maybe a modest sales, and they ended up selling, within the first 2 years of the Mustang, 1 million cars. That's a lot in that time period. So basically, I'm getting ahead of myself. So, 1964, halfway through the year of 1964, the Mustang was released. They were all labeled as 1965. So back to those sales numbers for a quick second. But first, let me take a beverage break, and I need to fill that up in a second. Now, the Ford sales folks were estimating maybe reaching 100,000 orders within the first year. And like I said a second ago, they reached 1 million in 2 years. They were absolutely flabbergasted by the success. Everybody but Lee Iacocca, probably. All right, so the Mustang debuts and is out and selling by 1965. In that time period, they worked with Carroll Shelby to come up with the GT350 and the GT500. Then, in 1967, we actually see some muscle car competition popping out. Camaro, Pontiac Firebird, and a plethora of others. And Ford realized they had to compete. And so in 1969, that is when you would first see the Mach 1 performance package available for the Mustang. And you would see that until 1978. And now we haven't gone from 78 all the way to now without a Mach 1. We had a resurgence in 2003 and 2004. But I think we're going to be in for a real treat with the Mach 1. And if anybody is going to buy one, put a comment down there. Also, comment, what is your favorite Mustang? I mean, obviously, like first generation Mustangs for sure. I also love the retro vibe of the S197. I've been drinking wine and looking at them on Craigslist, and I probably shouldn't, but I can't help myself. I mean, those were those, the looks. I'm gonna love that car. Instant classic as well. Now, maybe you have an extra $52,915 that just burned a hole in your pocket. What would you spend that money on? Would you get yourself a new Mustang Mach 1? Would you get yourself something else? Tell me what you think. That's what those comment lines are for. Only good comments, though, because I will hunt down anybody that says negative things. All right, guys. Well, it is pretty much my bedtime. I'm pretty sure it's like 10:15, and I'd like to lay in bed reading for like at least 30 minutes about Lee Iacocca. Oh, just love that guy. Everybody does. All right, he's just an upstanding kind of person. And if you like goofy and sometimes informative car videos, well then go ahead and press right there or right there. All right? Until then,